A $290,000 housing disaster. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a look at this article from news.com.au, which is discussing, well, a housing disaster that a poor gentleman is facing over in good old New Zealand. Now, this is an interesting one because, well, we'll have to have a talk about it. We'll pull it apart a bit. So, New Zealand man's $292,000 dream home disaster. A New Zealander who thought he'd landed his forever home is now facing a $292,000 lawsuit after a ridiculous planning error. Now, we have to pull this apart and think about who actually is at fault and what lessons we can learn from this. A New Zealander who thought he'd landed his forever home. Now, I'm not a fan of that term, although I'm probably in my forever home now because there's no way I could afford to move somewhere else, but still, is now facing a $292,000 lawsuit after a planning error saw him build his new house right on his neighbor's boundary. So they probably thought, that's a separating wall. Yeah, they probably thought he could build to boundary. The 1 meter difference between where Deepak Lal's house was built and where it should have been located could cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix. I remember hearing stories where people built the houses on entire wrong blocks, like entire houses. The New Zealand Herald reports Lal had contracted Pinnacle Homes to design and build the home in Pepakura in Auckland's north, and by mid-2020 it was almost complete. But work on the 3-bedroom house came to a grinding halt in August when the construction company called to tell him about the boundary mix-up. I mean, how can you get that far into a job? The neighbouring property is owned by C94 Development, and the company is now taking legal action against Lal over the boundary stoush. It wants him to move the house or pay 200 or 315,000 NZ in damages. And they're completely within their rights to do that because, they've got to. They've got to. It's a nightmare for me. I wake up in the middle of the night and think, how am I going to solve this? I mean, you almost wonder why would they even bother having 1 meter difference between these planes. Oh, I guess 1 meter from the boundary for each side. That's 2 meters. Yeah. Pinnacle Homes had hired the company HQ Designs to come up with the plans and file the building consent for the house. Lal said HQ Designs architectural designer, Nitkin Kumar, filed the building consent and Auckland Council approved it. The council is ultimately responsible, he said. Well, no. Not really. No. The designer is. But Pinnacle Homes hired the designer. So what our good friend here has to do, he needs to, because he's facing legal action, so from the neighbouring property, so he needs to sue his builder, then the builder needs to sue the designer, and the designers, all the insurance companies, will have to start negotiating and see if it's worth taking the council to court. And this is one of the things, depending on who certified it, because it's in New Zealand, I'm not sure if they've got private certifications. One of the advantages of having a private certifier is there's another person to sue, another bit of insurance you can get a slice of. I mean, I don't know how much the designer, the draftee, would have been paid for this. Might have been a couple of grand. A couple of grand and you're facing all this risk. This is why I don't tend to do houses, guys. It's just not worth it. The risk-reward ratio isn't worth it. I don't understand why people are drawing these things up when mistakes can happen. A letter from Lal's lawyer, Matt Taylor, to Pinnacle Homes and HQ Designs in September 2020 said a surveyor had been hired to certify the location of the home, and it was in keeping with the building consent. It seems like the issue has arisen as a result of an error made at the design stage, likely to have occurred when the resource consent information was transferred by the designer to the plan submitted for building consent, Taylor said. Pinnacle Homes project manager, Jonathan Barty, said he realized something was wrong when he checked the documents for Lal's home and found the error. The first person I called was the surveyor. but he had actually marked the house in the right place according to the building consent, he said. I notified Mr. Lal, and that's when everything stopped. Barty and Pinnacle Homes and the surveyor followed the plans, and the fault for the boundary dispute rests with HQ Designs and the council. He said he feels for Lal and his family and is willing to help move the house, which he confirmed would cost about 150,000 NZ. Well, that's not too bad. I mean, you can tell they haven't finished it. They've just done the shell, it looks like. They haven't done any of the internal lining. But we need to negotiate who's going to pay for this, he said. I mean, what if you just cut a meter off? What if you literally just sliced a meter off the house and redesigned it? Wouldn't that be cheaper? Take that bit of the wall off and reclad it. Get a bit of the, that may be the way to go. Then just make that, turn that into a little pavement. If we move the house, someone needs to take responsibility for this, and it's not me. This is between HQ Designs and the council. But see, HQ Designs was hired under the builder, so it depends on how they were hired. If they were a subcontractor hired by the builder, then you have to sue the builder to get to them. This is really messy. The council checked everything. Oh, but are they still responsible? And approved the building consent. But the council didn't cross-check that it was supposed to be 1 meter within the boundary. HQ Designs, Nitkim Kumar, said when he filed the building consent, he asked the council to cross-check it against the resources consent for the site. But it's still the designer's responsibility. The client needs to provide the information or source it for you, but it's still the designer's responsibility. I clearly noted it in the building consent and said they needed to read it in conjunction with the resource consent. It's the council's responsibility to check it. Kumar said his lawyer is talking with both Lal and Pinnacle Homes to try to find a solution to who is going to pay to move the house. C94 Development spokesman Bruce Wang said it was an unfortunate situation. I think in the end, the other parties have to provide a solution because it's preventing us from selling the property, he said. If it's not settled, the liability will keep accruing month by month. Wang said he's not sure or interested in who is liable for the mistake. That's up to the other parties to find out what went wrong. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, it's not his problem. It's not his problem. Lal said he just wants to find some way out of the mess. Slice a portion off your house, mate. Then sue. That's what you're going to have to do. Everyone seems to be blaming someone else. Welcome to the construction game. He said moving the house would be the cheapest option, but that's money he does not have. I'm already paying $1,000 a week for the mortgage on this house and the rent for the other place I'm living. An Auckland Council spokesperson has confirmed they've been notified of the issue and are looking into it. So it's good to see Kiwi councillors are just as effective as us. So what are the solutions here, everyone? Well, number one, for any type of construction job, you need to have a contingency in place to allow for legal action. If you need to sue, you need to have money in place for that. Check the town plan yourself. Check the information provided by the authority. You should be able, as a member of public, you should be able to get it all online. Here in Queensland, it's either the Queensland Development Code or the local councils will have requirements, and that should be noted on the drawings. Mistakes can be made. Guys, it happens. Sometimes you need to, if you go too close, you can argue for an easement, these type of things, building right to the boundary. Maybe you can argue for a change of use. Maybe that'd be cheaper, maybe not. But you really need to have a contingency to be able to take legal action in cases like this. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts or opinions on this one. I feel sorry for everyone involved in this. And, wait a minute, nope, here we go. Thanks for watching. And for those of you that have been following me today, I have managed to get a new camera, and I still need to get a few little things sorted. But the issue was my Canon 5D Mark II, it died. That was what I was trying to replace the other camera with. The issue was the computer. So I've replaced my entire computer with my old one I have behind me there that I wasn't using. Just when I happened to plug in the Logitech cameras, when I was looking at any app other than one particular Logitech one, it would get a horrible flicker and just look terrible. So it was some driver issues or something I just didn't want to deal with. So I just replaced the computers. I guess that's, Fortunate I can do that. That's why you never throw out the old ones, guys. Always keep them. You never know. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Join us on YouTube or Patreon. Support us by using our affiliate links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.